All right, it is 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, and it's time for Ocala Magazine Radio. Philip Glassman and John Sotomayor are in the studio. They've got a couple of guests of their own, and we're going to learn not only about what's going on at the magazine, now known as OM, by the way, or OM. So everything's getting a facelift and renewed. So good morning, Philip. Good morning, John. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Larry.
Good to see you both. How are you?
Doing very well today. How about yourself?
Yeah, you've got some pretty ladies here to talk to today. Yeah?
That's right.
Yes, we do.
Ladies doing good things in our community, I happen to know, right? NAACP and Royal Dames. I always forget the name of the group. Yes, Royal Dames, yes.
Yeah. Larry, I'd like to introduce the guests. We have Lydia Kudis with us, who is with the Ocala Royal Dames for Cancer Research, and she's going to talk to us about what they do and the events that they do to support them, including the Tiara Ball coming up.
Excellent.
And then Tiana Green is the president of the NAACP of Marion County, and we did a wonderful feature in the February issue called A Dreams King in Action, where we talked about the issues that pertain to the Black community in honor of Black History Month. And Tiana shared some of those issues in detail and also some of the solutions, things that they're doing to be proactive. So we're delighted to have both of them here who's going to talk about those things.
Well, thank you both for coming in, for what you do for the communities. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the Royal Dames has been around for, since I remember being in high school, and we would always go to those dances, and they've been raising money and helping people in the community since I was at Forest. So it's nice to have her here with us today also.
Yes. And Lydia, the Royal Dames was started by, was it Mrs. Castro?
Yes, Teresa Castro in 1986, and they became a 5013C in February the 12th, 1987.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We are starting our 33rd year.
Yeah, nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And was there a story behind how or why she started it?
Well, she was sort of a philanthropic person,
She
had a organization down south when they lived down south, and it was it wasn't the Ocala Royal Dames, it was the Royal Dames of Cancer Research, whereas we are the Ocala Royal Dames for Cancer Research.
Very good. And this Tiana?
Yes, Tiana.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good. You guys do such great work in our community, too. We had a NAACP show we used to run on Sundays. I wish you guys would do it again. It would be nice.
We can really consider that. We would love that.
You know, one of the things that from New York originally, the Bronx River. Are you familiar with that river, by the way? It was horribly messy. And you know who cleaned that up? It was the NAACP. You guys said, you know what? The government's not doing anything. And so that local branch up there, they got their feet wet.
And a lot of other branches, throughout the United States, that's what happened. They just call to action. They have something they want to accomplish, and they'll just go do it. Yeah. And that's why I've always liked that organization.
Absolutely, yeah. Is the Black History Museum still up, or is that?
Yes, it's still up. Matter of fact, they're having a open house on next Thursday, the 21st. At Howard Academy.
And where is that? What's the address of that? Because we were trying to find that out last week.
I don't know the address off the top of my head, but I know it's Howard Academy Community Center.
Okay.
It's where the Title I office is located.
Okay.
So Lydia, tell us about the Tiara Ball.
Well, as I said, it's our 33rd, and this year it is going to have a lot of bling, a lot of gold, a lot of white.
I think you ladies are known for bling. You ladies right there. I think
all ladies are known for bling on that note.
Middle name. Even your hat has bling on it today.
And the one thing we're doing this year is we're going to be honoring our Royal Knights, our previous Royal Knights from 2006 up to 2018. And then we will be presenting our debutantes and the Royal Knights for 2019.
Oh, nice,
and then, of course, we're going to have a gorgeous meal, and we're going to dance, and we're going to have a really great time, and we're going to raise funds for cancer research. And we have raised net $3,350,000.
Oh my God!
Wow,
that's great.
By just having a few events.
How is it possible you guys do so well over and over and over again?
Because we work like little blazing
That makes the rest of us feel like
a little amazing,
Yeah.
Well,
Robin and I tried to raise money for the literacy council, and we got like 7,000. We thought we were doing good.
Yeah.
But when you say 3 million, it's like holy cow.
Well, we've been working at it. This year, we're hoping to get about 115,000 clear, net. We're working for that.
Lydia, let me ask you a question. What is the age range of those kids that are doing that?
Well, they're high school. They're grade 12.
So it is like when I remember going to those dances.
Absolutely.
Is that from 9th grade to senior year?
No, it's their senior year that they.
Oh, it is. It's
become a
the senior year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So is the issue of the magazine featuring the two ladies?
In the future.
In the future.
Well, they do have an ad coming out, the Royal Dames, in February's issue, and we just did a story, as Jonathan said, which that was in on the NAACP. That story.
That was also in February.
That was in February's issue also.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Right.
So from tiara to Tiana. Two words that almost sound the same. So what are you guys doing locally?
We have a lot going on. I just was elected into the position as the president. I'm the youngest female president of the history of the branch here in Marion County.
All
yes.
right.
So I'm very honored and excited about everything that we do have planned. We have been, even during my interim time, when it came down to getting ready to vote, we registered almost 350 people to vote. We were very proactive in the community doing that, and making sure that those that were inactive, activated their voting powers. And then we went to unconventional places pretty much to try to get people to understand the importance of voting. Mm-hmm. So we have that going on. We also have our Freedom Fund Gala that's coming up on April the 26th. So we're going to have Hermes Ayala from the Ninth Circuit come and be our keynote speaker.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
yes.
That's nice.
So we have that going on. We also, when I've been active in the community since I was about 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And so when I got back into the NAACP about 3 years ago, I came with a lot of ideas and stuff that was just, kind of from what I was working on from my perspective, because I've been working with juvenile justice for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
And so the Fathers of the Year Awards is something that is a passion for me, that hopefully the branch will, embrace. But what that is that we take the active fathers, instead of concentrating on the inactive fathers, which they get a lot of, kind of attention, especially during Father's Day, with single mothers and things like that. Mm-hmm. But we do have a lot of active fathers in the community that's not only being fathers in their homes, but they're mentoring and doing things in the community. When I was doing this just as Tiana, we were able to get at least 33 fathers the 3 years that we did it, just from people in the community nominating these fathers. And it was pretty amazing to have that many people.
Can I add really quick, Larry? I think it's important to note that when we were editorially coming up with the topic for the feature, we felt it important to have the Black community speak for themselves. So we recruited African Americans that recruited each other to be the voice of the magazine. And we had about 8 or 9 people involved with it, including the photographers, everybody involved. And they covered a broad range of issues, including attitudes and beliefs from other races, but also their own. So the projects they have underway is to encourage one another. And they had projects to provide resources and job opportunities, like the Marion County Black Business Network that I hope Tiana can shed light on.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Marion County Black Business Network is designed to, if someone wants to support Black and buy Black, they are able to do that, because one of the things is that oftentimes Black businesses don't need loans or anything like that. They just really need people to buy from them, so they can
customers,
they can be sustainable. And so the Black Business Network will give us opportunity to support each other, to provide workshops, to kind of lift those business owners up and kind of broaden their idea of where they can get grants and all those things from in order to build their business and keep it in as it's supposed to be for them and their families. communities and kind of, sustain it within the community.
Tiana, it really goes hand in hand with what you said earlier about encouraging people to register to vote.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of like step one. And then what happens is people say, wait a minute, I don't want to vote for any of these people. And then that's when the conversation says, well, why don't you run? And next thing you know, you have more people from the Black community entering the race. And next thing you know, they're representing the people.
Right.
And so, I mean, it all works out for the better, because then let's say, for example, on a local level, you have a county commissioner.
Right.
And he understands the Black community better than the others and says, why don't we have an event at this supermarket, which
Right.
nobody ever goes to.
Exactly.
And that would help. I think the whole community would benefit
Yes,
from it. Yeah.
exactly.
Tiana, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you did anything with Mad Dads or Patrick Hadley?
I when in their existence, I was pretty young, so I didn't do anything with the Mad Dads, but I do remember how impactful they were in the community.
Absolutely, yeah. I did that when I was a 19, 20-year-old with him and met him, and we were able to do those first-time felony offenders and get them. And it was 92% of those kids went on to get a vocation and never
Yes.
got back into the juvenile system again.
Right, and hopefully we can incorporate that, because we have been talking about, NAACP has 19 standing committees, and so our goal has been to put a chair on each one of those committees, and criminal justice is one of those committees. And so when we talk about criminal justice and trying to reform, then those are the type of things that we're trying to incorporate within that.
Well, it's really showing these kids that there are other options,
Right.
and they have other choices, they can make. Anything that Ocala Magazine or OM, if you will, can do to help that, we're trying to do as much charity directly to the people that we can.
Oh,
so
thank you.
let
I
us know
appreciate
if there's
that.
anything that we can do to help with
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Yeah, I like that. I hadn't heard that name, Patrick Hadley, in a long time. I got a story from Patrick. He used to be a regular guest on the show, and
I didn't know that.
And they had somebody stole the sleeping bags. It was a program he was part of, right?
Right,
And
right,
so
for
he-
the youth, disadvantaged
So he
youth.
came on and he said, I'm so heartbroken. We had this thing we were going to do, and the sleeping bags were stolen.
Going camping.
Oh my gosh, it was like magic. People just from all over the place. He called us up in 3 days and said, you're not going to believe how many people brought sleeping bags.
Wow.
Yeah, more than they knew. So, we do have a community that cares about each other.
Yeah.
But I think communication is part. That's why it's a great relationship with a magazine.
It is. Absolutely.
It's a good thing.
Absolutely. When I first met Patrick, he told me, he said, well, I had to do something because I was out on my own streets, and they were these drug dealers selling drugs to my own kids.
Where is he now? Where's he go?
I don't know, but I'd love to find him. So if he's listening, I'd love to hear from him. But he actually took me out there, and he was actually, literally kicking these people off of his own streets. And then that's when we decided to help sponsor him, and we, sponsored that Mad Dads program. We got the building and so on and so forth through Kiwanis Club.
I think he was appointed to the Front Porch Project up in Tallahassee.
Okay,
a
so
few
he
years
moved
ago.
out of Ocala.
Yes, yeah. He's working up there.
So if you're just tuning in, this is Ocala Magazine Radio. Philip Glassman is here with John Sotomayor, and Philip is the publisher. John is the managing editor, correct? Do I have that?
Yes,
those
that
two
is
sound
correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say again, he's much more than a managing editor.
Oh, thanks, Philip.
and to your right is Lydia Kudus. Lydia is with Royal Dames Cancer Research, and the Tiara Ball is coming up. We want to make sure we repeat that information. And Tiana Green is the youngest female president of the NAACP for our area, and you're both featured in different articles in the magazine.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
That is correct, yeah.
I want to add, because you touched on an important thing earlier about the vote. They're doing a lot on a program called Ignite the Marion Voters, and I'd like Tiana to talk more about that.
Okay.
What we noticed during the primary, that the numbers in Ocala was kind of low when it came to the vote, especially African American votes. So what we wanted to do is engage the community a little bit and try to step outside the box and get other people in the community involved. We called in fraternities, sororities. We called in some other organizations that we're attached to, and said, listen, let's give everyone a training on how to register everyone to vote. And then we took Marion County and kind of split it, and the other organizations were able to get assigned a apartment complex or a side of the Marion County that they would concentrate on and just go knock on doors to make sure, especially especially in some of the apartment complexes that maybe had people that were on housing, for instance, because we know that those people can't have a felony at all to live there, so they are qualified to register the vote. And then there's a possibility that population is much younger, and so the interest of voting may not be where it needs to be in order to exercise our power. So we were able to knock on those doors, register people to vote right there at their front door, and able to hand them the information in regards to where they would actually go vote, where the address was and everything else. And what that was designed to do is just unite everyone. We went on State Road 40 at one of the convenience stores in West Ocala, and we had Fresh Force DJs, which volunteered 8 hours of their time to play music there. We had the Omegas fraternities donate hot dogs and hamburgers and the bread to go with them. We had the Delta sorority. They provided drinks and things like that. So we all came together as one and kind of just, we had even our youth council on the side of the road holding up poster boards saying, register to vote. Don't forget to vote on Tuesday. And so that's something that is ongoing. We make sure that we mention it in all our meetings. We make sure that when we have representatives from the NAACP that lives in some of the rural areas, that they can remind people to vote. So that's what that was all about. It was Ignite the Marion Vote.
Yeah, I think what you have in common with Lydia is the fact that the two organizations have realized the value of coming together with one purpose in mind. Look, they might have a cure for cancer in a year.
Yes.
Right? That's an amazing thing. And you helped make that happen.
Well, let me just tell you something. Probably many of you do not know this. In 2008, we had a young lady from Moffitt Cancer Center who wanted a little bit of money to continue her research. And that research that we funded in 2008 and 2009 and a little bit in 2010, 2010, that research is now on the market through a pharmaceutical company called Keytruda. Wow. And that research money came from us.
Is that right?
And now this Keytruda, in summer of 2012. No, wait a sec. We're in 2019 now.
I know. I do the same thing. Yeah. What year is it?
2018. Summer of 2018. It was okayed by the FDA for breast cancer. And last week on TV, it was okayed for kidney cancer. Besides lung cancer, which is what. And
does it actually cure? What Keytruda? What's it called?
It is part of treatment. Yes.
Keytruda. That's the word it's called.
You probably saw one of their commercials on television.
Yes, it's on TV.
I might have heard the disclaimer.
Yes. you picked up on that one real fast.
I just wanted to add really quick. There's so many stories that we can cover on, so many tangents with just these two alone.
Sure.
So some of these things I just wrote notes here from Lydia to add to the medical journal that we have in our magazine to make sure we cover these. And also, as you can imagine, the Black History feature was so full of information. We had to actually go into the website and the Facebook page to do follow-up stories on it. We also included the legacy honorees from last summer, 2018. Nice. And throughout the month of February, we're listing one at a time, all 10. So I encourage our listeners to also visit us on Facebook for additional content on these stories.
Well, what you guys do at the magazine is help the rest of us kind of get our finger on the pulse of the people we might not get to talk to on a regular basis. The things that our neighbors are actually doing, and if we're compassionate people, we want to help. That sometimes you need somebody just to know what you're doing,
right.
And then
you don't know what's going on,
right?
And that's why Linda created the magazine 39 years ago. To be the city magazine, and we might do a national story, but everything we do, we try to tie it back into the city or what's happening in our own city or our own community, if you would.
That's correct. Actually, the mission is Ocala's place in the world. So So we'll cover important topics like the ones we're talking about now and apply it to us locally and what people are doing here in this community.
I like that. Ocala's place in the world.
That's right.
Yeah, because we all have a place in the world, right?
That's right.
It's nice to know that we have a place also, like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And when the Marion County Black Business Network was created, that even opened up more doors.
Oh yeah, it did. It allowed us to see what a lot of people in the community were doing, because you just can't. Marion County is so large, so you just can't get to everyone. So establishing the Black Business Network, from the first hour, I think we had already 1,000 business owners getting on there, or those aspiring to be business owners. And so yes, it's been a success.
Does the local political scene interest you? Are you interested in running for an office?
I'm not even thinking that.
You don't even want to go there.
No.
You'd be a great person to do that, Kathy.
Yeah. Well, the NAACP has always been a passion of mine. I was part of the youth council when I was younger.
Is that right?
Yes, and working with the Department of Juvenile Justice, it allowed me to even have those who were different than me to kind of pour into me, because I started working in Gainesville at 23 years old, but still was living in Ocala, and I drove back and forth.
Oh my
But with the
gosh.
support of them, even encouraging me to go back to college and all those things. And so I really wanted to give back to the community, because the community is what built me.
Yeah.
My mother was a single mother, and but it was women in the community, males in the community that saw potential and, kind of kept me involved. And so once I got to a point where I could give back to the community, that's where my passion comes from. And being now here with the NAACP is just more honor and pride for me. And I just always want to bring the positive out of everything. And like he said, we have an action and move it on to make it better for everyone. So I really appreciate Ocala Magazine for reaching out to us and giving us the opportunity. And even with you letting me know that we used to be here on Sundays, because I'm gonna consider that a lot, and then let our committee know that as well, so we can start getting more out there and visible to the community.
Do you know Janet Griffin?
I do.
Yeah, she was one of the ladies that did it.
Yeah, she's my first vice president, actually.
Oh,
So yes.
Oh, she's an amazing lady.
Yeah, she
Holy
is.
mackerel. And what is she, like a great-great-great-grandmother? She doesn't look like it at all.
No, not at all.
Am I right? Are there
Yes.
3 greats for her name?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Wow.
And Philip and John, you also have the Father of the Year Awards.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to just talk about that Father of the Year award, because in our society today, they say that obesity is our number one problem in our society, and
It's mine.
and I kind of
My number one problem.
I myself don't agree with that, whether the stats say it either way. Not about you, but just in general, because I really believe that it is a lack of fatherhood or fathers being involved
That
in
is
the
important,
parenting.
yeah.
And the mothers are, just like Tiana just said, she's a single mother. They're working 2-3 jobs, and the guy, doesn't take any responsibility. And that's something for me, that I take personal, and that's why I think in our publisher's letter that's coming out, we're focusing on the Boys and Girls Club with April over there, and trying to really, help and change some of these kids' lives that just need some guidance or some structure that we've been so blessed to have. Or I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have my family that, kind of guided me to say, hey, this is the wrong thing and this is the right thing to do. So that being said, I think the Father of the Year Awards is an interesting thing.
And I wanted to add, actually, to clarify, that is the NAACP's program that they do with the Father of the Year's Award, but Ocala Magazine does have our own. We had just had the Person of the Year, which was Danny Gatewad, and we do 40 under 40 coming up, so we have definitely plenty of opportunities to honor all the people who are doing wonderful things here.
Danny stepped up to the plate for something we were doing. What was that thing he did over?
Oh, that was Operation Shoebox. He provided all of the postage to send all of the Operation Shoeboxes 1 year overseas. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's really doing great things. And, I've seen him. He's been a longtime friend of my father for many years. And so we're lucky to have him in the
I can't wait to stay in his hotel. Are you looking forward to staying in his hotel?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that, right?
And eating there and shopping there.
What is it, a 5-story building or a 6-story building? What is
Not
that?
sure.
I'm not sure. It's actually right across the street from the Tavern on the Square. It's right there on 40.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe it's 6 stories, but don't hold me to that.
and they have mixed use. They're going to have residential apartments within the building.
Really?
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
I didn't know that.
Mhm. And shopping and boutiques in the lower level, plus 2 or 3 restaurants is what Danny told me. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lydia, do you have people wanting to join the Royal Dames? And how would they do that? How would somebody join the Royal Dames?
We always have in the spring a little get-together, and we're invited to bring 2 or 3 people that we know, and then we introduce them to the Ocala Royal Dames, and some of them sign up to be members, and some of them do not. But this is how we recruit, just by people that we know, and we invite them. And we're inviting them to the Tiara Ball. As actually, I've got 2 tables of 10 of my neighbors, and hopefully 2
How many
or 3.
tiaras do you own?
Probably lots. Too many to count.
She has a wall of tiaras.
No, nothing like that at all.
1, 2?
3. Different sizes, that kind of thing.
Lydia, I hadn't seen you in so long. You're so sweet. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anybody want to give contact information, phone numbers, websites?
Well, the Ocala Royal Dames is on the website, and our event is next Saturday, and it's at Stone Creek Golf Club.
Yes, and we have the NAACP office is located at the Ocala Housing Authority, and we also have a Facebook page. We are trying to move over to online as a website, but they can always contact me, and my number is 352-286-5054, and you can become a member of the NAACP at any time.
And Tiana, what is your Facebook page?
It's called the NAACP of Marion County.
Okay.
Very good. John, Philip, Tiana, and Lydia, thank you for both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Larry.
For having us, Larry. Really appreciate it.
Go get a copy of Ocala Magazine, now known as OM.
That's right.
That is correct, and it's at ocalamagazine.com.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 13